guys, welcome back to We Watch a Movie. I am Mike, and this is movie news updates. Starting with, and by the way, I know we've had a lot of these updates coming out this week. It's crazy. It feels like there was no news worthy of talking about for so long. And it's just this past couple weeks, I guess they're trying to get it in before the Christmas holiday comes up, but it's been fun. So as long as these keep coming out, we'll keep making them. So make sure you're subscribed and all that stuff. The other day, I did a 28 years later trailer breakdown. I really appreciate all the people that watched that. It did very well. So welcome new people. You sound like you're from London. I'm an idiot, and that's why I said that, is because I was so confused with multiple things. One, why did that trailer come out at 3 a.m.? Duh, because it's in the UK and times are different there. And also the spelling of counselor, which I made a joke that made them idiots. And I was kidding. I totally knew that. Yep. But anyways, one thing that was huge in that trailer everybody was talking about was this Cillian Murphy. Was this the character of Jim right here, again, looking like someone starved the lead singer of All American Rejects? But last night, Guardian came out with a news story and dispelled that in fact is not Cillian Murphy, which is how you say his name correctly, you dumb shit, Mike. It's actually newcomer Angus Neal, who is an art dealer who specializes in old masters and was talent spotted by Boyle, who was much struck by his distinctive looks. Yeah, I bet he did catch your fucking eye. Sony Pictures hasn't responded for comment yet, but we know this isn't the post-Oppenheimer husk of Cillian Murphy anymore, which is good for him and his health. I'm very happy for him in that way. They don't say that it's not Jim, however. I personally don't believe it is, because we've seen these on-set pictures of him on the set of 28 Years Later from months ago, wearing, a sweater with long hair. Who's to say that by the end of the movie, he doesn't end up this husk? I feel like if his characters go into that territory, if he's going to turn into one of the infected, and this is going to end up being him, looking like he just popped up out of the field with Leatherface from 2022, I don't think that they would show that in the trailer personally. I also think that Danny Boyle is a cheeky bastard who loves to fuck with people and probably got some sick enjoyment out of putting a character who looks just like Cillian Murphy in the trailer for everybody. I don't personally believe that this character is Jim. I just think that Cillian Murphy has a super in shape, frail frame. I'm trying to say this in a nice way. I mean, he's handsome as fuck. I'm not going to offend anybody. I mean, look at him as Oppenheimer, for God's sakes. I mean, he's a frail dude. He's a skinny dude when he wants to be. So I don't think that that's him. And if it is him, I think it's just, it's a dream sequence or something like that. I think we all want to see something a little bit more interesting done with Cillian Murphy's character, although that would be kind of funny and like, you are some mean bitches. Other than that, I think we all want a little bit more. So I think it's good news. Another thing that I want to point out that I missed when I talked about this trailer that you guys caught, because you're eagle-eyed fucks and you're all so smart. I maintain this every time. It's always better to do these things live because you guys come up with better ideas than we ever do. But yes, I did not notice, even though I watched this 27 goddamn times, this shot on the hill there when they're all running at them. If you look to the right side, there is a giant there. That is a fucking Jolly Green Giant. Look at the size of that guy in comparison to the others. Now, those on the right and left of him could be kids or whatever, sure. But that man is seriously tall. And look at the shoulders on that son. I'm having kind of a hard time not looking at him now. Listen, I mean, I'm just thankful that we don't see the shadow of his dong hanging out down there, because that's a big son of a bitch. His body's definitely not in proportion if that's the case. But you see him shake a little bit in the arm region when he's getting ready to run. So I do think that it's a zombie, but there's a lot of theories going around the internet. There's more shots of what I think is this same guy. If you look closer when they're in the underwater temple, when they're down in the darkness, and that shot that kind of reminds me of 28 Weeks Later, you see this guy come at them, and I didn't realize it at first, but this dude is considerably taller and bigger than these dudes. I think this is the same giant in this scene where you barely see him, and their heads come up to guys' nipples. So that makes that scene all the more terrifying. I thought it was just some Charles Manson fucker hiding out in the water, but the fact that this is this giant guy, and I wonder, this could be Jim that they were talking about. We talked about the character of Jim, the little kid in the beginning was called Jim at the start of the thing, but this is years later. What if this is who that kid became? And because he's bigger, or he's figured out a way to sustain himself as one of the infected and not only survive but thrive in these conditions, maybe that they're all worshiping him, and that's all this Jimmy stuff we keep seeing. These are all theories. These are all ideas. Who knows? You guys had a lot of great ideas in the comment section for sure, and there's maybe one more shot of him on top of this hill. I can't tell if it's him or not for sure, but I love those shots. And yeah, so that's the update on 28 years later, months, fuck my ass. That's the update on 28 years later, as we know. Not Cillian Murphy, not 100% that it's not Jim, but personally, I really don't think so. In other news, that's sure to not relax anyone's crack, Austin Butler has been cast as Patrick Bateman in Luca Guadagnino's American Psycho. I'm saying that. I'm 100% saying that wrong. Guadagnino's. I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. Austin Butler, who played Elvis, is being cast to play Patrick Bateman in the new American Psycho film. This is from Variety, and it's coming from the director. We knew that this was happening. We just didn't know who they were going to cast. Jacob Elordi was in the running for the role for a moment, but it looks like it's going to this feller here. It's the same director who directed the Suspiria remake and the cannibal movie Bones and All that came out a couple of years ago. So I'll be honest with you guys, full frontal male nudity. My initial response to this was, what in the fuck is wrong with you? Of all the films that could never be remade and made better, 0% chance of being made better than they were, that could never be remade again, American Psycho is very, very high on that list. Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale's performance as Patrick Bateman was a one of one. It's a fucking gem in a sea of dark ass. You're crazy if you think to touch that. So I think specifically in this case, the word remake for that movie just makes no fucking sense whatsoever. However, and I haven't read the book myself. I have ordered it. I'm going to read it. And I'm going to do the differences between the book and the movie video, because I love doing those. I think they're fun. But the book is apparently very different than the movie and more violent, and it's got a lot of other stuff to it. And what they're saying about this now is that it's not a remake. It's just a different adaptation of the film. And the only thing that gets me there is like, okay, you didn't use reimagining, you didn't use reboot, you said reinterpretation. So I feel like it might have a completely different vibe. It might just be utterly and completely different. But then you also cast Austin Butler, who looks goddamn exactly like Patrick Bateman. I mean, in the film, it looks just like Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman in the movie. When you put them side by side, it's fucking uncanny. Now, I don't know whether or not Austin Butler's going to be a good Patrick Bateman or not, or if they're going to try to have him be the same way. They kind of hint at what they're going to do differently a little bit in Variety when they say that. Under the lens of that guy who is best known for Call Me By Your Name, Challengers, and most recently Queer, the new take on the book could have a larger erotic emphasis than the original horror satire. So if I'm putting it together correctly, what you're saying is, Variety, is that this shit gonna be gay. And in the words of Christian Bale, good for you.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
Which there was elements of that in American Psycho as well. The next one's really exciting though. Daniel Richtman, Insider Daniel Richtman, on his Patreon said that Crawl 2 is coming out. It's going to be directed by Alexander Aja. Love the first Crawl movie. Absolutely thought it was great. It was entertaining. It was a fun little hurricane movie. Alligators scare the living fuck titties out of me, and just a lot of fun stuff in there. And the girl who led the film was fantastic. I hope that she comes back for this second one. But just some plot details and the fact that Alexander Aja is going to be coming back to direct it again, which was a must for this to be interesting whatsoever, and not just to be a direct-to-VOD turd in the toilet. But it says that the sequel's set during Hurricane Sandy, so we're going to do the hurricane thing again, and this time the Central Park zoo animals get out. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, it doesn't have to be alligators. You could still have an alligator in there, maybe even throw in a crocodile. I don't know the difference. I'm not a animalologist. But dude, imagine all the shit. Just think about that one scene in The Happening when that guy walks in the tiger cage and goes, "Here, take it." That fucker just eats him whole. Like those little found footage shots and cool shit like that. The tigers, the lions, the bears. A hurricane and a bunch of fucking zoo animals flying around everywhere. Like monkeys flying by. It's Jumanji. A fuck. I love it. I'm excited for it. I think it's great news. And finally, the last bit of news from last night, from yesterday, that we're going to talk about today is that Clayface has officially been greenlit by the DC. And the best news about it is that Mike fucking Flanagan, he's a good damn director and he's a good damn writer. And having him behind Clayface is great. He pitched this over a year ago to DC and it's just now getting greenlit. My favorite part of this news is that, and there's not a lot of news. We don't know if it's going to be in Elseworlds or where it's going to be. Personally, I hope it is. That way they can just keep it, tight and centered. The biggest, greatest news for us in this faction today is that when he pitched it, he said he wanted to approach the film as a horror, thriller, tragedy, which is perfect for that character. It's perfect for DC to differentiate themselves from Marvel a little bit, and I think that he could do great. Now, he's also working on The Exorcist right now. I don't know if they wanted him to direct this or not, and it's just a busy thing, because dude's got like 1,000 projects going on. I mean, for all we know, most of it's already been written. I wish he was directing it, because here's the thing about Clayface. It doesn't matter how good the fucking script is, all right? If that CG looks terrible and the character looks like ass, then the movie's just not going to work. Halloween 4 with Michael Myers is probably my second favorite Halloween movie of all time. I love that movie so much. But the only reason it's not regarded as the best sequel in the entire franchise, because Michael looks silly as shit with that mask and those shoulder pads on. If the character doesn't look right, the movie's not going to work. I don't care how great the story is on a wide scale. So who directs it's going to matter a lot. The special effects are going to matter a lot. But at least we know we're going to have a good story, and it's good in good hands from that place with Mike Flanagan. So, yeah, that's today's horror news. What do you guys think about all this stuff? I love your all's fucking faces so much. So much to come on the channel. All your updates from all your favorite horror movies right here. Just make sure you subscribe and have the bell clicked. And we're live Friday night with the Friday the 13th stream. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. Time in the pants. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon.
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you want to know about the darkness?
I said, goddamn.
Goddamn you faggot!
I said, goddamn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, goddamn.